is Jackie Velasquez, and I'd like to welcome you to this brand new series. This episode is called Friends Forever and features my friend, Amy Grant. Amy and I had the great privilege of sharing the stage with more than 30 of the greatest CCM artists of all time, as CCM United celebrated 40 years of contemporary Christian music. It was a tremendous night of music and friendship, and later you'll get to hear some of Amy's classics that I know have a special place in your heart and sweet memories. You know, if I had to name one person who really was a radical trailblazer for CCM, it would have to be the amazing Amy Grant. Amy grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, and went to youth group at Belmont Church of Christ. It's funny that Church of Christ doesn't allow musical instruments in their worship because Amy's whole musical team came out of Belmont Church, and her records were among the first to incorporate pop music styles into Christian music. Amy, her producer, Brown Bannister, and managers Mike Blanton and Dan Harrell were all on fire, sold out for Jesus, believers, and with their pastor, Don Finto's blessing, that you could be a strong believer and be in the cultural world of the arts and entertainment. They set out to do just that. Pastor Don told them to pay attention to the word, pay attention to their prayers, and pay attention to their families. This was sound advice for where they were heading. They were about to get on the fastest roller coaster ride of their lives. Amy was only 16 years old when she signed with Stan Moser at Word Records and started recording her first album with Chris Christian. She wasn't looking to become a recording artist, but God had other plans.
The experience that I had in Christian music happened in the context of great friends. I was a youth group kid that started writing songs, and my brother-in-law became my manager. The guy that used to date my older sister became his partner. My youth group leader became my producer. It felt like we were all just experiencing life. We were trying to, we were celebrating our faith through things that we loved. It never occurred to us that I would sell a record. It didn't even matter. We would get to travel to go do something with music, and we think, oh, what restaurants are in that town? I wonder who we're going to meet. But it was always just about the experience of sharing life.
I was a youth pastor at Belmont, and Amy's family just transferred to the radical Belmont Church of Christ on Music Row, and we were on a youth retreat, and she came up to me at that youth retreat, and she said, "Hey, I just want to play you a couple songs," and so she played. And of course, I was struck with the same thing that everybody's struck by. It's just her charisma. You know, she sang like a very young girl, you know, but just her charisma. And she wanted me to help her make a tape, a cassette of her songs for her parents, I think.
I was writing songs, and he said, "Hey, I have 2 free hours in the college studio. Do you want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, it sounds fascinating."
You know, I just helped her get that done, and I just took that to Chris because he was like looking for talent. Amy was not looking.
She was not trying to be an artist.
Was not on her radar. And so I brought this tape to Chris, and I remember you listening to the tape right then, and then calling Stan.
So I called Stan, and I said, "Stan, okay, I got the next artist." And then we played something over the phone with Stan, and Stan, of course,
Stan's like,
okay,
great.
He doesn't know.
Let's sign her.
Because it was so much about trying to capture experiences of our faith in music.
Yeah.
And then share it with each other and remind each other about it. You know, think about that song, Faith Walking People.
Mm-hmm.
All of us had a relationship before music came along. To me, that was the most, you know, that was the context in which all the music happened. The friendship was already there.
Welcome to the greatest night in the history of contemporary Christian music. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Grant.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more hallelujah. Sing your praise to the Lord. I can never tell you just how much good that it's gonna do you just to sing anew the song you have learned to sing when He first gave His life to you. Oh, the life goes on, and so much the song you gotta sing again. The song born in your soul when you first gave your heart to Him. Sing your praises once more, sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more hallelujah. praise to the Lord. I can never tell you just how much good that it's gonna do you just to sing aloud the song that someone is dying to hear down in the maddening crowd. As we once were before we heard the song, you got let them know. The truth is a light to shine upon the way, so maybe they can go. Sing your praises once more, sing your praise to the Lord. Come on everybody, stand up and sing one more hallelujah. Sing your praise to the Lord. I can never tell you just how much good that it's gonna do you just to sing. Come on and sing, sing, sing. Sing your praise to the Lord. Sing your praise to the Lord.
Welcome back. Putting faith into music was a whole new adventure, and Amy was up to the challenge. She recorded a progression of 3 successful studio albums before doing 2 live records with the consummate rock band DeGarmo and Key. Let me set the stage here. 1981, Estes Park. Amy is performing with DeGarmo and Key. 2,000 people in the audience. A female singing with a rock band and Christian music had never happened before. It just didn't happen. She plays the first song, and there's no applause. Her managers are standing in the back saying, "This cannot be happening." She's singing the next song, and there's no applause. Her managers are thinking, "We need to get out of here." By the next song, Amy got a little weepy on stage, and then started telling her story about her dream, about what she wanted to do. And by the grace of God and her incredible ability to tell a story, she won that group of people over and turned the whole thing around. Meanwhile, her managers are back at their hotel for an emergency meeting. They looked at each other and said, "Are we crazy? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Did we miss it?" And out of that meeting came Amy's next album, Age to Age. Out of that came Michael W. Smith. Out of that came Reunion Records. What came out of that moment, a failure, was a moment that really reset God in all this. They heard, just move forward and go do what you've got to do. After that, things began to explode wide open. From that bleak night when it looked like all was lost and this was never gonna work, it took a little time to get the Titanic to turn around. But as we all know, it did.
Well, Age to Age
This thing.
exploded. I mean, the first platinum record ever by a solo artist in Christian music. So there was a progression of albums that had all done well and were selling very well, and our concerts were doing well, but that was kind of the
That was the takeoff.
new level.
The right song at the right time can be a total game changer. I have a dear friend who, she's been a cheerleader for me, you know, "Oh, so glad, let me hear what you're doing," but she would never listen to a channel on the radio that played gospel music. I mean, it's like, I don't do that, which is fine. You know. She showed up at my house after I'd known her for decades. And I opened the door. I didn't expect she was going to be there, but she had been in the car with one of her children. And I don't know what was going on in her life at the time, but I guess he was flipping the radio dial, or she was, and a song came on that she so desperately needed, and she was undone. And she was showing up at my house to apologize. It's like, "I was wrong, the whole world needs this." I said, "There's no right or wrong. It's just such a great reminder that the right song at the right moment, any kind of music, can change a person's feeling about living."
The hunger came from the church and young people. So many churches have vital worship programs and worship leaders and worship bands, and they write their own music and then they play the music for other people. And you can do it there for free with the people you love. And that didn't really exist when these guys started making it. They took that faith-based music to places where kids couldn't get it. It wasn't in church, it wasn't there.
making music, it's the most joyful thing I've ever been a part of, you know? And feeling it and going, man, that's crazy. God is crazy, you know, to love us as messed up as we all are. I mean, go figure that. I just found everywhere I went that, and I still find this, everybody wants to believe that they're loved. You know, we're all desperate for that. And it doesn't matter what lifestyle, how much you have or don't have, whether you profess any kind of faith or not. I mean, that's just the human condition.
That's the thing. We have gotten to do this music that is just, I mean, it just drills down to the depths of a human soul. And it's, what an honor to do that.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. Age to age, you're still the same. By the power of the name El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Irkom Kan Adonai. I'll praise and lift you high, El Shaddai. Through your love and through the ram, you saved the son of Abraham. And through the power of your hand, you turned the sea into dry land. To the outcast on her knees, you were the God who really sees. And by your might, you set your children free. Through the years, you've made it clear that the time of Christ was near. Though the people couldn't see what Messiah ought to be, though your word contained the plan, we just did not understand. Your most awesome work was done through the frailty of your Son. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. Age to age, you're still the same. By the power of the name El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Irkom Kan Adonai. We will praise you till we die, El Shaddai. I will praise you till I die, El Shaddai. We'll praise and lift you high, El Shaddai.
The incredible community that Amy had experienced at church had a profound effect on her. She determined to create community in her professional life as well. Amy was getting ready to record Age to Age, the first solo Christian album that shot to platinum status and helped her become known as the Queen of Christian Pop. Caribou Ranch was built in a converted barn on ranch property in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. 4,000 acres, recording studio, cabins, horseback riding. It had it all. Amy's manager, Mike Blanton, knew about it for all the famous groups that had recorded there. Chicago, Elton John, Dan Fogelberg, just to name a few. For Amy, it was the next natural progression to foster community and create some great memories.
And so it was like, hey, let's take the party to Caribou. Our first week of recording, the aspen trees were in bloom. The weather was beautiful. We had invited all the musicians who were going to play on the session and their wives and children to come to Caribou. And then they all left, and the second week, my whole family came up. Oh my gosh, here's a full color spread. That little cabin is where the lyrics to Thy Word, the verses to Thy Word were written. But it was those memories, because it wasn't just us, we shared them with our family. And so, you know, that's the thing, it was always about the shared memories. And music was part of it, but music was not the focus of it. Life was the focus of it. And it was kind of like that we all just kept going, you know, we were just so glad that the opportunity kept continuing.
I remember walking into some arena somewhere, and there he's playing and Amy's singing Thy Word. And I look around the arena, and I mean, it was just like 10,000 people, however many thousand. It was a lot of people, just hands up in the air. And it's just, that was before kind of like that ever happened. And man, I just wept. I wept. And it's like, really, I get to be a part of this? It's just amazing.
11 years later after we started, and Baby Baby exploded. And it was the explosion. I'll never seen that happen again. And she looked at us and she said, and I mean, it's like we're getting phone calls from everywhere, and she's truly being pursued everywhere. And she said, you know, the journey getting here with all of you guys has been more fun than the arrival at this point. As big as this is, that 11 years of getting here has been more fulfilling. And she summed it up. She basically summed it up for all of us that really set it off at that moment.
You know, the things in life that you really pay attention to, the mantras you say over and over again, or in my case, the songs that you sing, the things you fill your life with do shape your life. And I've just felt a lot of gratitude today, because I know that the songs that I have sung didn't make me immune from pain in life, or adventure, or failure, but they, in the midst of all that, they were an anchor. Not the songs, but the message. And so I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude.
Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Hey, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And when I feel afraid and think I've lost my way, still you're there right beside me. And nothing will I fear as long as you are near. Please be near me to the end. Oh, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Hey, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And I will not forget your love for me, and yet my heart forever is wandering. Jesus, be my guide and hold me to your side, and I will love you to the end. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, and a light unto my path.
Amy's career continued to soar on wings like eagles. 6 Grammy Awards, 22 Dove Awards. She was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and has sold more than 30 million albums worldwide. Not bad for a youth group kid who grew up singing hymns and learning harmony. Amy and Michael W. Smith started writing songs together back in 1981. Michael was in Amy's band before launching his own career. Michael and his beautiful wife, Debbie, wrote a song called Friends that ended up on his first album. Michael became Amy's opening act, and one fateful evening, Amy invited her dear friend on stage to sing Friends together with her at the end of her show. And they've been singing it ever since. Michael said sharing the stage with Amy recently and walking on stage to a sold-out show at Target Center was unbelievable. Now, 33 years later, their friendship and the song Friends is still living on. Thank you for joining us.
We are friends with God, aren't we? A lot of friendships in the house tonight. Packing up the dreams God planted in the fertile soil of you. I can't believe the hopes He's granted means a chapter in your life is through, but we'll keep you close as always. It won't even seem you've gone, 'cause our hearts in big and small ways will keep the love that keeps us strong. And friends are friends forever if the Lord's the Lord of them. And a friend will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. And friends are friends forever if the Lord's the Lord of them. And a friend will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. No, a lifetime's not too long to live as friends.